In this video I'm going to show you how to create new department pages. So I've logged into SquareSpace and I'm going to click on Website Management. From here I'm going to go under Structure and click on Architecture. This will load up the architecture, and if you scroll down, not all the way to the bottom, until you see this Departments section, you'll see that I've hidden the Departments section, and you can see that we can see the buttons on the Departments section are slightly faded if you compare it to something like Application Process. This just indicates that these are hidden menus, I guess you would say. And what you need to understand is that these pages, although they are hidden, they can still be accessed from your own scripts that you write. So I'll explain what I mean. So if I click on Control and then click one of these buttons, that'll load up another tab, and this is your art page. I'll just click on Preview. This is your art page, and what it is that I built this menu here, and when you click on these buttons it takes you to a page. Now the only way you can create pages is if you create a section, so kind of like a sub-menu. But what I've done is I've created the section, but then I've hidden it. So these pages, although they're hidden, they're still active. So like I said, what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you how to create more of these pages. You can see that I've created all of the art departments pages. This is the overview page, Key Stage 3, Key Stage 4, Key Stage 5. So I'm just going to walk you through the steps of creating, for example, the ICT pages. So what I'll do first of all is I'll click on Add Page under the Department section. Now all of the pages are probably going to be HTML, so you just click on the HTML and press Select and Configure. The page title, I'm going to call this one ICT Overview. The reason I've done that is because A, it will be the overview page, B, it needs a unique identifier for that page. So for example, I called this ICT Art Overview. I called the one below Art KS3. I called this one Art KS4, I called this one Art KS5. Each page needs to be uniquely identified, and this is the URL identifier. Although that's the case, I don't want the actual ICT overview words to appear in the navigation title, so it doesn't really make a difference, to be honest with you, because I'm actually going to select what I want to appear there, but it will determine what appears on here as well. So ICT overview, navigation bar title ICT, URL identifier ICT overview, and obviously I'll just change those settings when I do the Key Stage 3 one. So it'll be ICT KS3. This will say ICT KS3, and this will say ICT-KS3. The style override is really important for this, because if you want to create a page that uses this submenu that I've built, you have to use a different template, and that template is this one. 2C sub with top menu. So that's a template I've built to create these pages. So I'm going to choose that and press Create a Page. You'll see what that's done is it's created this ICT overview page, and you can see that this is disabled. Okay, so this is even more faded than these ones that are hidden. Now what I need to do is I actually need to enable this. Okay, so I click on Enable, I scroll over it and I click on Enable. There you go, and now the page has been enabled. Now the next thing I would do if I were you is something I was talking about in that when I met up with you both. It's that you actually need to tell each submenu that appears on your website not to show that page, because if the admissions submenu says, or the pages on the admissions submenu sees this page, it will automatically put this submenu of departments, even though it's hidden, on that page. Okay, sorry, I've explained that wrong. What will happen is, let's say for example this admissions menu, okay, it's set up so that you choose what pages this admissions menu doesn't appear on. So now I've just created a new page, I need to tell this admissions submenu not to appear on that page. Okay, and you have to do that for all the submenus. Like I said, that's the weird thing about SquareSpace. It's the only thing I found a drawback for. So what I would do is I would start from the top. Now the welcome menu doesn't need to not see that, because the welcome menu is actually a main menu, and you want to see that welcome menu on every page. So you start with your first submenu, which is the About one. So what I would do is I'd go to Modify, and you'll see that what it says here is display only when specific pages are not active. So I've just created that ICT page, and I want to make sure that I've got a tick box on that page. Let's see if I keep scrolling down. Look, it's there. Under departments, it will appear, this submenu, the About submenu, will appear on the ICT overview page unless I tick that box. Okay, because I don't want that to appear on there. If I go here, look, I actually want the secondary school submenu to appear. So, go back in here. Once I've ticked that box, I press save. Now, I don't want the news submenu to appear on that page, so I have to modify this one. Scroll down. It's quite a laborious process, but it's actually quite simple as well. Again, the primary school submenu, I don't want that to appear on my new ICT page, so modify, scroll down, check. Now the secondary school submenu, I do want to appear. See, I want it to look like this, secondary school with all these sections. These are obviously hidden when I go live. So I'm not going to change anything on there. Go down to departments. Well, actually we'll do the admissions one obviously, so we go down to admissions, modify, scroll down, click on that, and then the contact one, modify, scroll down, click on that. Yeah, so you don't need to do it on the departments one. So now then, if we go and have a look at this page, so again I'm just going to keep hold of control and click on this page. You can see that's what it looks like at the minute. Okay, so what I want it to look like is that. So I've got the submenu that I want on the page, but I haven't got this. Now I need to create this. Now the way I do it is, if I go on here and click on content, I need to edit a page. Click on edit page, and now it asks me to write my content in. If I show you the page that's working, which is this one, and I click on content and edit page, you can see that I've got this bunch of code in here, and this code is what I need to copy across to here. However, it's a little trickier than just copying and pasting it. Okay, so I need to explain. If we go in here and we copy the code, I'm going to copy it. Now you can see here, look, that I'm in raw HTML view. So when I go across to this page, I don't want the WYSIWYG interface, I want the raw HTML. Might take a minute to change it. There we go. And then I can paste that code in. Paste. And you think, well, that's simple enough, so press save and close. Brilliant, and it looks like it's worked. And it has, but the thing is, this now has exactly the same links as the art one, as this one. And obviously that's not what I need. I need to make all of these buttons link to the appropriate page, i.e. these buttons need to link to the ICT overview, the Key Stage 3 ICT, the Key Stage 4 ICT, and the Key Stage 5 ICT. So I've got to do some editing of this page. So again, I'm going to click on Edit Page. Now if you know how to read the HTML and you know how to write the HTML, you can just do that. So for example, this is the ICT, and I need to obviously change this to Overview because I copied this code from the Key Stage 3 one. So this is the ICT Overview, save and close. I've now changed this text. So this one says this is the art Key S3, and this says this is ICT Overview. Just to not confuse you, I'm just going to go into this page, the overview for art. So this is art, this is ICT Overview. Now again, that seems simple, but it can get a little bit tricky. So if I go to edit page again on the ICT Overview, like I said, if you know how to write the HTML, just stick with the raw HTML view. But your problem comes in that you probably don't want to use the raw HTML one. You probably want to use a WYSIWYG interface, so you can drag pictures in, move them around, etc., etc. And that's where the problem comes. Okay, so let me show you why. If I go in here and I swap to the WYSIWYG interface, like this, everything looks fine. But it says here, warning, content previously saved in the HTML version won't come across. That's fine, because I haven't changed anything from the raw HTML view since I pressed save. So this looks all fantastic. Alright, so what I'm going to do, WYSIWYG interface, everything looks great, save and close. and that happens. And here's why. It's because when I'm in the WYSIWYG interface, you can see it gets rid of all of the code that I wrote, or it disables all of the code that I wrote in the raw HTML view. Okay, so if I go back to the raw HTML view, I can make it active again. And to make it active again, to make it active again, I need to go to raw HTML, and what I need to do is, if you go and have a look at this code written in this page, so what I'm saying is it's deactivated this code, okay? And the reason it's done it is because of this. Okay, this is like this is what you use in HTML to write a comment. So it's commented all of this text. What I need to do is, you think, right, okay, I need to get rid of this, and I need to get rid of that, and everything should work fine. Well, it won't, because what you actually need is you need to put something in place of those comment sort of pieces of syntax. What you need is, if I go in here, look, let me just show you how I got to this. If I go back into the R page, edit page, and I need this bit of code here, so this starts the style for the CSS that I've written. So I need to copy that, go in here, paste it, and then I also need to close that style tag by copying this and closing it here. Okay, so now I press save and close again, and everything comes back to normal. So why I've showed you that is because what you want to do is, you probably want to change these, well, you need to change these links, and you might be able to do that using the HTML editor. So for example, you can see here that this overview button here, this overview here takes me to the art page. So I could just change that and say, right, well, I need it to take me to the ICT. I think we call the ICT overview page there, like that. And the Ahref art KS3, well, I haven't created the ICT KS3 page yet, but I will do in a bit. So I know I can change these links. Again, ICT KS4, and then ICT KS5. So as long as I call the pages that I'm going to create in a bit ICT-KS3, etc., ICT KS4, then these hyperlinks will work. So again, I can close this. Now I know that the hyperlinks here, if I scroll over that and you have a look at the bottom here, this will take me to ICT overview. Again, I'm looking down here. This one will take me to ICT KS3, this one will take me to ICT KS4, and this one will take me to ICT KS5. So I just need to go and create those pages and everything's fine. However, like I said, on edit page, unless you want to write the raw HTML, every time you swap from the WYSIWYG to the raw HTML, you're going to have to add these snippets of code here and here. So again, let me show you what I mean. If I swap over to the raw HTML, the WYSIWYG, everything looks fine for a minute. So what I might want to do is play around with this and insert a picture. I'm just going to grab a picture quickly. So I've grabbed a picture quickly there and inserted a picture. Now the thing is, like I said, if I press save and close now, everything's going to mess up. Look, save and close, everything's messed up. So every time I've interacted with the WYSIWYG interface, what you need to do is you need to go back to the raw HTML interface, get rid of this, go back in here, copy this, paste it here, go back in here, copy this, and paste it in there. And then once you're in here, once you're in the raw HTML view, then save and close. And then it'll come back. Now obviously I've copied a picture there that's way too big, but I just wanted to show you that, you know, you can work with the WYSIWYG interface, but make sure you go back to the raw HTML and put in these snippets of code here before you save it and close. I'm just going to get rid of these for now. That's the picture there. So save and close. And then what obviously you need to do, like I said, is once that's been created, you need to go back to web management, back to architecture, and then you need to go and create those other pages that we've just linked to. So from departments, you would add page, click on HTML, select and configure, and create your next lot of pages that we've got. So it was ICT KS3, and you can see here, look, that's a unique identifier.